attracts money. But how does it work? Hi, I'm Priyanka Sambhav, and my show, Save Nahi Invest Kar, will help you in making your money into that magnet which can attract more money for you. Often people use saving and investment in a synonymous manner. They think it's one and the same, but they are poles apart. When you save your money, you put your money in your bank account. Your bank balance may grow, but your money won't grow. Only when your money grows will you be able to fulfill your dreams like a future home, a dream car, children's education. So it's very important for you not only to save money, but invest that money. And today I have with me Wise Invest Advisors founder Hemant Rustagi, who's a renowned personal finance expert, to help us understand the difference between the two. Welcome, Mr. Rustagi. Thank you so much for being with us. I also feel you believe in this motto, save nahi, invest kar. And often people sort of confuse between the two and they think it's one and the same. What is the key difference between these two words?
Well, thank you, Priyanka. Yes, I totally agree with you. I think it's very common to see investors feeling that saving and investment are one and the same thing. Because many investors feel that, okay, if I'm saving money, which means I'm putting my money in the bank, I'm actually making investment. But in reality, these two are completely different thing. So let's understand what is saving and what is investment. Saving is the money that you put aside from your regular income. For example, if you're a salaried person, you get your salary every month, you put aside some money, or if you're a self-employed person, you're able to save some money after taking care of all your monthly expenses. That's called saving. Investment is when you put this money to work. How do you do that? You buy certain assets from it. Which are these assets that you buy? You buy maybe invest in equities, you buy debt instruments, or you buy real estate, or you buy gold. Why do you do that? You do that in the hope that you will earn healthy return from these investments so that over a period of time you can have a bright financial future. So as we can see, saving is just putting money aside. And the next logical step is investments. Of course, as is evident, for you to become an investor, you need to be a saver first. So you have to become a saver to become an investor. But it's completely wrong to think that by just putting money in my bank, I have invested money. You haven't invested, you just kept it aside, which means that somewhere you'll end up compromising your financial future if you do not invest that money properly.
Hemant, is there a right age when you should start investing? And if you sort of miss that age, you've missed the bus?
Well, Priyanka, my strong belief is that you should start investing as soon as you start working, and I think there are a couple of reasons why you should do that. One is that there is something called power of compounding, which is basically you earn return on return. For this, you need to give longer time to your investment, and when you start early, you give longer time to your investment for it to grow, so you benefit from power of compounding. Second is when you are at the start of your career, your income level is not very high. You are in a position to invest smaller sums and also able to take risk, also able to learn from your mistakes. Because when you start investing, you're bound to make mistakes. The problem is that if you make mistakes later on, you find it difficult to digest the fact that I'm losing a part of my hard-earned money. When you begin at the start of your career, you are in a position to take some risk, become a better investor by the time you have a serious money to invest. But of course, if you haven't been able to start your investment process at the start of your career, it is never too late. You should never think that, okay, because I've not done it and I've been working for the last 10 years, what should I do? Whenever you feel, you realize that you need to start your process, you must begin that. Of course, two things you need to remember then. One, either you have to compromise on your goals, and if you don't want to do that because you're giving lesser time to your investment, and if you don't want to do that, then you have to make sure that you're investing money which is appropriate in terms of ensuring that you reach to your goals after your time horizon. So it pays to start early, but it is never too late to start investing.
So goals become really important. They become the key which will decide sort of what kind of investment path that you should be following.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Because what is important is when you start investing your money, you should know what is that you want to achieve out of it and how will you work it out. The only way you can work it out is to basically follow a goal-based investment process. All of us have different goals. You have short-term, medium-term, long-term goals. So long-term goals typically are like trying to build a portfolio for your children education, for your retirement. Medium-term could be buying a house. Short-term could be maybe going for a vacation or maybe buying something over the next 1 or 2 years. So once you define that and set a target for each one of them, work out how much you need to invest to achieve all these goals. It will actually tell you how much money you need to keep aside every month. Then you go back to your saving and see whether the amount that you're saving is that adequate enough or not. If not, then you have to either rework on your goals or see that where you can increase your savings. So clearly, everything depends on what is that you want to achieve out of your investment. And the only way you can get to know that is by following a goal-based investment process.
Now, I think apart from the goal, the time you have in your hand to achieve that goal, this also becomes really important.
But yes, like I said, starting point is that you define your goals and then work out how much you need to invest. But the next important point is to decide your asset allocation. What is that asset allocation? Is to determine how much money should be invested in different asset classes. There are two kind of asset classes. You have financial and physical. In financial, you have equities, you have debt instruments. Now, the issue is how much of my money should go into these asset classes. Look, equity, as we know, is an asset class which tends to be volatile. I mean, volatility is a natural phenomenon there, but it also has the potential to give you higher return. So all your long-term money should be assigned to basically equity. Your medium-term goals where you need growth and income, it should be in hybrid. And in the short-term goals where you need capital safety, at the same time you want slightly higher return than the bank, then the focus has to be on debt. So the moment you decide or define your goals, time horizon, that tells you which asset class should be there in your portfolio. And let me also explain that why asset allocation is important. This process is called asset allocation. It's important because one, it determines the kind of risk you are taking from your investment, and it also determines the kind of return can you expect from your portfolio. And why this is important is because if you do not have any idea what to expect from your return, somewhere in future you will get disappointed. So define your goals, define your asset allocation, and then the next step should be which are those options which can help you to get the best from these asset classes.
Well, Hemant, if I'm a conservative investor and I feel that money is lying in my bank account and it's safe, why should I invest? Because there would be a risk, attached to it. The value may depreciate. Why should I invest? It's good that it's there in my bank account.
Now you're talking about risk from equity market, you're talking about risk from debt. I'm saying we saw what happened during this pandemic, right? People lost their jobs. There were a lot of issues in the financial life or even otherwise. The risk is there everywhere. What we need to understand is that if your money is not going to grow in real term, that is, your return minus inflation minus taxes are not positive, you will lose the value of money over time. While the bank, say, by bank deposit or safer instrument will give you safety in terms of capital, but you will be actually taking a bigger risk of not being able to beat inflation. So it's very, very important that you take a calculated risk, understand what is the way to tackle that risk. For example, when we talk about equity, risk and equity investment, there are strategies to tackle that. Second is follow a disciplined investment process, whereas either you invest through SIP or make sure that every 2 or 3 times in a year you're investing that money. What will it do for you? It will allow you to average it out. So the volatility, which is actually normally a fear for investor, for you, if you follow a disciplined process, it will turn to your advantage because you'll be able to benefit from averaging by investing at different levels. So there are risks, yes, of course, you need to understand. Fortunately, there are strategies that can help you to tackle this risk of volatility and ensure that you get positive real rate of return over time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rustagi. So, Mr. Rustagi clearly is saying, don't let your money sit idle. Let it work for you. Risk is there. रिस्क से इश्क कीजिए लेकिन रिस्क को साथ में कैसे हैंडल करना ये भी सीखिए थैंक यू सो मच मिस्टर रुस्तगी फॉर योर टाइम